Hello and welcome to the first video series by Lean in Ireland, where we're trying to address some of the issues that are keeping women from going for senior roles, because we've noticed a decrease amongst our Lean in circles in the numbers of women going for the more senior bands. And we want to tackle some of the issues that have come out of the wash in some of the discussions and the listening groups that we've done. I'm Breda. I'm co-founder and chair of Lean in Ireland, and I'm joined today on Zoom today with a lovely lady called Susan McDaid. So we're co-presenting today, and Susan, over to you to introduce yourself.
Thanks, Breda. I'm Susan McDaid. I'm an accountant and tax advisor. I work in financial services for over 20 years, and I'm part of the Lean In network, where I work with Breda. Breda, we've talked there about women, being afraid of going for roles in senior or for senior roles. And so, why do you think that might be? And is there a fear of leadership?
Yes, brilliant. Yes, I think there is. I think the reason that we are seeing a reduction in the number of women going for those senior bands, particularly during lockdown, is, and it's a number of topics that I have coached people on before. And I find that if women haven't led a team before, they're very reluctant to go for a leadership role. And I think there's a nervousness with it, as in, how would I lead a team? How would I know how to lead a team? Well, in fact, all leadership is where you are a servant to your team. So servant leadership is where you just go in and you serve your team. You get your team's strengths out. You let your team figure out who's strong and who's less strong at other bits and pieces on the team, and you let them do the gelling and you let them do the work. As a good leader, your role is almost more to provide mentorship. It's to provide guidance, it's to help them with direction and encouragement and coaching. That is what a good leader does. Now, that's not hard. If we think about that, many women that I coach are mums, and I'm saying to them, well, you're probably coaching your kids and you're probably encouraging them all the time and giving them guidance here and there. This isn't really all that different. So, and if you haven't been a mum, it doesn't matter, because all you have to do is look after your team. If you look after your team and let them excel, they will.
So true, so true. Can anyone become a leader? Breda.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're not born leaders. So if you want to become a leader and you haven't done it before, I would advise people to dip their toe in the water. Try and get into something like a community of practice or a network of some kind that allows you to exercise some leadership skills. And maybe take a step forward around the teams that you're already in and see, can you step up a little bit or take on a small project of some kind so that you can start working with people and practice, guiding them, giving them a little bit of direction if they need it, getting feedback from them, coaching them, all that stuff. You can do that very easily. If you switch on a lens that's looking for leadership opportunities, you'll find it very handy. And I would recommend that they all try that. Everybody should try that a little bit. Dip your toe in. It won't kill you. You'll actually really enjoy it, because leadership's a very, very fulfilling role.
Why do you think women don't actually, take that step and apply all the time?
So I think there's a number of reasons, and it's a great question, because actually there's a lot of topics have come out of those listening sessions. We'll have other women doing interviews the whole way through on these topics to give everybody a little bit of variety and a little bit of spotlight, and to help other women. I think probably I find with a lot of the women that I'm working with, I do a lot of coaching around their self-belief, and I think their conditioning hasn't been what you'd call really beneficial to them. So I'm working with a lot of women to try and really inject a lot of confidence and proper self-belief, and getting rid of all the old conditioning and the old self-beliefs that are actually just doing them damage. And I think once you start to see yourself as a woman leader, then you'll start to want to do that. I think look around you, see what other senior leaders you can see that are female around you. There's loads of them online, and see who would you aspire to be like, and watch out for good leaders. I've had some fabulous leaders in my past and not so fabulous leaders in my past. So always watch to see what ones you enjoyed working with and why, and watch how they developed you. That's what you get to do for somebody else if you're a leader. That is some honor. I think it's amazing. You can change lives if you're in leadership positions and you're doing it right.
Yeah, so true. You mentioned some resources there. So what sort of resources would you recommend to someone, who wants to sort of, get into leadership, or, step up or improve their leadership styles?
There's a number of things I would do with someone to try and get them over the hurdle that they're facing. There would be a lot of work on their self-belief, on their confidence, but also so you can do that, but in parallel, you also need to have mentors and you need to have sponsors in your corporate environment if that's where you are. If you're self-employed, then what you need a network. So I think everybody underestimates the importance of their network and underestimates the importance of what other people can do for them in terms of moving them along and developing them in a career, or even just encouraging them when they need it. So you certainly need confidence, self-belief. Always work on that, because that'll never do you any harm. And we always need to be working on that forever. And then mentorship, sponsorship. But I would also ask people to get involved in community type groups, right? Because that's where you get to socialize with new people. You get to take on new challenges. You help maybe the environment that you're working in with a project of some kind, and to improve the company perhaps, or the industry that you're working in. So, I mean, that gives you buckets of experience, buckets of challenge, and it's a very enjoyable thing to do. So those are the three things that I would suggest. Very easy, little steps: self-confidence, self-belief, sponsors, mentorship, and some kind of activity with a community type group, whether it's in your company or out of your company, or it's a social thing. And try and expand your leadership skills within that kind of environment, because you need to be a 360. So it's good to learn all kinds of leadership, and then just aim for being good to your team. If you look after your team will look after you.
You've paused on me now, Breda.
All right. Our broadband's, it's obviously messing out, Susan. So what would you add to that, Susan? Have you anything that you've seen around leadership that you
think
women?
So leadership, I think it's really important to have a leadership profile, okay, so that you understand yourself. And a lot of the stuff you talked about there, Breda, around, your self-confidence, your mindset, your own self-beliefs, all of that is so important, and it really needs to be worked on. And it's only you that can work on all of that to build it up, and to, sort of improve your own sort of understanding of your own mindset and your own self-beliefs. Because they've been there for quite a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think we're looking forward to the next series as well, Susan. That was kind of some of the little short, succinct bits that we wanted to share with everybody today around leadership. And we would like to encourage women to go for senior roles. Don't let the overthinking stand in your way. Don't let the nervousness get in your way. Do some of the actions we suggested today. Give it a lash. Lean In is there for you. There's networks all over the country now. There's lots of different female networks, and they're all fabulous. So lots of support out there for anybody who is willing to dip their toe in that water. I would encourage you all to give it a lash. And we'll be back soon with another video series on another topic that is also going to be targeted to help women try and get up into senior roles. Because you deserve it, ladies.
Definitely. Thanks, Breda.
Thanks, Susan. Thanks for being with me today. Bye.